can talk about some elite baseball players now.
Mm.
Jay Jaffe of Sports Illustrated joining us here. The man behind JAWS. That would be the Jaffe. Let me get this straight. The Jaffe wins above replacement score. Jay joins us here on the Morning Run. Good morning, Jay. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. Doing pretty well here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us here. Yeah, you created a stat that, and congratulations, you had Hall of Fame voters mentioning JAWS as one of the reasons why they decided to vote for a player or not vote for a player here. But tell all of our viewers who may not be familiar with this, how is JAWS different from, say, WAR?
Well, JAWS uses WAR as its baseline currency. What it is it's an average of a player's career WAR and his what I call his peak WAR, which is his best 7 years totaled up. You take an average of that. You don't want to just favor the guys who stuck around and compiled. You want to recognize the guys who dominated for a shorter period of time, and then you compare that guy's JAWS score to the players at his position to identify the ones that are above the average candidate when it comes to voting for the Hall of Fame. For the most part, it tracks as you suspect, but there are guys, especially guys who didn't have a ton of defensive value, who may have say hit a lot of home runs but not done a lot else, that don't score very well. But wins above replacement equalizes for park and era, so it helps us compare players across eras. A lot of the guys we're voting on now are guys who played in a very high scoring homer heavy era, and this helps level the playing field at least somewhat.
All right, the baseball writers' votes, when you put them through the JAWS evaluation, how do they fare?
Well, two of the guys elected here, all three of the guys elected here are above the JAWS average at their position. Tim Raines and Jeff Bagwell in particular are guys that I have been stumping for years. They went under-recognized. They do very well with my system, both within the top 10 all time at their position. Rodriguez, of course, it was pretty obvious that he belonged. I have him as the third best catcher of all time. When I look at the way that Edgar Martinez and Mike Messina are climbing, there are a couple guys who've been recognized by my system as very strong. Likewise, Curt Schilling, who fell off for other reasons, who fell back for other reasons. The one who's not really getting the love, though, who I wish would, is Larry Walker, who compares favorably even to Vladimir Guerrero, but is only getting in the low 20% of the vote.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think people see a couple things. They see Walker's short career. They don't really recognize how much value he added on the base paths and defense, which are things that WAR does take into account. And despite the fact that WAR helps equalize for the Coors Field factor, they tend to discount those stats even more heavily.